The future of Raptors restricted free agents Malachi Flynn and Precious Achiuwa are now officially in question, as the deadline for them to get their contracts extended was yesterday, and the Toronto Raptors opted to not give them longer-term deals. So we'll break down what this means for the Raptors team roster heading into the future and what we can expect from Precious Achiuwa as well as Malachi Flynn in this video. Additionally, Patrick Beverley came out and roasted Pascal Siakam and O.G. and Anunoby on his podcast, and Giannis Antentokumpo, the dream is officially over for him to ever join the Toronto Raptors, even though it seemed like that was the case back in 2021. But lots of stuff to break down, and Toronto Raptors basketball is back, and we're heading into this new season with some new players, a new head coach, and a new overall excitement for this Raptors team because, frankly, last season things were definitely getting pretty stale. And if you feel like things are getting a bit stale in your own life, particularly with your living situation, then you know what? It's probably time to move. And Rentals.ca has you covered because Rentals.ca is Canada's largest apartment hunting network. And you can rent apartments, houses, condos, whatever it is. Their website's extremely clean. It's easy to use. Whether you're on the East Coast of Canada, West Coast of Canada, you can pinpoint the exact location where you want to move, and Rentals.ca will be able to find you the best possible renting destination. And Rentals also is partnering with us for the start of the season to give away a free custom jersey. All you have to do is follow Rentals.ca on Instagram, follow Raptors Digest as well, put your name in the form down below so we can have a better idea of who's following who, and then you'll be entered to win a custom giveaway. That's right, a custom Raptors jersey giveaway. So shout out to Rentals.ca for, first of all, delivering you guys the best possible rentals all across the country, and also, firing people up for the Toronto Raptors start of the season with some fresh custom jerseys. So appreciate Rentals.ca, been a great partner to the channel, so definitely check them out on IG and check out their website if you guys are looking to move. But let's dive into the news because there's some interesting stuff that has happened over the past sort of 24 hours. Got people interested in the Raptors world, particularly the Raptors did not extend Precious Achiuwa or Malachi Flynn. Now, Malachi Flynn wasn't that much of a surprise, but one thing, especially earlier in the summer, big question was what's going to happen with the future of Precious Achiuwa, because coming next free agency, we all know it's been well documented, well talked about Pascal Siakam, O.G. Anunoby, and Gary Trent Jr. all being potential unrestricted free agents come next summer. So that's a huge chunk of points. That's a huge chunk of offense. That's a massive part of the Toronto Raptors team that could potentially be on its way out, given the fact that they're not locked into long-term deals. But a couple of our prospects, role players, particularly Precious Achiuwa, is a guy that Toronto Raptors fans, despite the fact he didn't take an insane leap last season, wouldn't have minded seeing getting a contract extension, especially where, he could potentially break out this year. It might make sense to buy low, maybe overpay a little bit from the production we were getting from Precious Achiuwa, but lock him in. So if he takes that leap, we have him on a bargain of a deal. Well, Adrian Wojnarowski came out and basically dropped a little Woj bomb yesterday, an anti-Woj bomb, I guess, an anticlimactic one, saying that no rookie extensions have come for Atlanta's Sadiq Bey, New York Knicks' Emmanuel Quickley, as well as Chicago's Patrick Williams, Indiana's Obi Toppin, and Precious Achiuwa, goodness gracious, Toronto's Precious Achiuwa, sources tell ESPN. So they'll be the top players available to join restricted free agency next summer. And that also obviously includes Malachi Flynn. Woj didn't feel the need to throw Malachi in that list, but he might be the Raptors' backup point guard this season, so I figure I threw him in there as well. But Precious is a guy, it's a very interesting piece. An interesting guy to sort of price out there in the open market because, again, he's still extremely young at only 24 years old. Been in the league a few seasons now at this point, but last year averaged 9 points per game, 6 rebounds, 48% from the field, but 27% from the three-point line, which is not that great considering, he took a little bit of a step forward, especially the season prior. Second half of that season was ridiculous, but Precious Achiuwa's season last year was very up and down, dealt with some injuries, and was expected to take a major leap, and didn't really have that, growth, that step forward that a lot of Raptors fans were hoping. Was very inconsistent, a bit out of control at times, and now we're all hoping under Darko Rajakovic's system that he'll be able to unlock some of our players, particularly Precious. But personally, I've been drumming up the propaganda on this podcast for a long time. Last year it was scaled back a little bit. We had to die down the better than Bam, the next Giannis Antentokumpo sort of pitches out there on the podcast, but I'm still a guy that's very bullish on Precious Achiuwa's future. So I've been of the mindset, hey, Sure, it might be a little bit of an overpay, but Precious averaging 9 and 6 at 24 years old is never going to be an untradeable guy unless you're giving him, Bismack Biyombo, $18-20 million per year money. But if we could have extended Precious Achiuwa around that $10 million, $11 million number, particularly the type of deal Chris Boucher received from the Toronto Raptors a couple summers ago, I think that would have been a proper steal for the Toronto Raptors. So to see that this deadline sort of came and went without much even talk, without much even chatter. Media day, there was a lot of chatter about Pascal potentially getting an extension, Gary Trent Jr. I don't know if we really heard anything about Precious Achiuwa in particular. In fact, slipped my mind over the past month or so, given all the other sort of news, rumblings, rumors that have gone on. But I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't give Precious Achiuwa that sort of extension. That would have been nice. That would have been key to sort of add him into the mix for it. But again, the Raptors' sort of future is very much in question. So locking in some long-term money into Precious Achiuwa might be a little bit of a risk if we're hoping to keep Pascal Siakam, O.G. Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., who are unrestricted free agents, and then Scotty Barnes, a guy that we're also hoping takes a leap this upcoming season, will be eligible for potentially a max rookie extension, come next summer. So locking into long-term money with Precious might be a little bit risky, especially with how unpredictable the season was last year. But I'm pretty excited about what Precious Achiuwa can do for this Toronto Raptors team for this upcoming season. So it might have been nice to lock him in on a deal that was more reflective on his value last season than what he did this upcoming year, which I'm hoping is a step forward. Might be a little bit of a risk. Besides, sees Precious Achiuwa a lot more than I do, day in, day out. But we'll see what ends up happening, if it's a smart move to extend him or if it wasn't. But speaking also on Malachi Flynn, again, doesn't really make sense for the Raptors to extend him on any reasonable type of money. Maybe a comparable would be Peyton Pritchard for the Boston Celtics, who didn't really get an opportunity, but was extended after there was more sort of minutes and opening in the roster this season for the Boston Celtics. And given his performances in preseason, Bruce on Celtics Digest has been breaking him down tremendously over the past couple weeks. If you're interested in Celtics updates, but I'm sure a lot of Raptors fans aren't. But I don't think that's really comparable because Peyton Pritchard showed a lot more flashes of consistency, opportunities he was given for the Boston Celtics. Sure, he wasn't great defensively. There's question marks, but he was definitely a guy that's shown more in his NBA career than a Malachi Flynn so far. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Malachi Flynn. He's a player that I'm hoping takes that leap. His last game of preseason was great against the Washington Wizards, so if he can carry that momentum with a longer leash from Darko Rajakovic, maybe he's a guy that Masai will regret not giving a little cheap extension to this sort of deadline. But let me know what you guys think about all this sort of extension stuff, the free agents, because Toronto Raptors have a lot of unrestricted free agents next year. Pascal, Gary, Precious, and Malachi Flynn and O.G. So could be a lot of the roster getting turned over next summer if we don't make any big deals for this squad at this point. But next thing we're taking a look at is Patrick Beverley calling out some Toronto Raptors. And, Patrick Beverley has his own podcast. I won't lie, it's entertaining at times. I think they got some wild takes on there occasionally. Not that there's anyone on YouTube or podcast world that doesn't have wild takes at times. But Patrick Beverley came out with just out of nowhere shot to Pascal Siakam and O.G. Anunoby, basically coming out and saying that if I see Pascal or O.G. Anunoby in a dark alley, I will not feel threatened. And basically inferring that this team doesn't have a backbone, doesn't have that it factor to sort of take this team to the next level. And whatever you think about that, personally, if I saw a very well-built, strong 6'9", 11, however tall the buys are, buys in an alley, I'm going to be a little bit frightened regardless of who it is. But Pascal Siakam, O.G., again, they're not out here pushing, doing dirty plays like Patrick Beverley, if that's what he's sort of referring to. And frankly, it doesn't really lead a bunch of dirty basketball, Markieff Morris, Patrick Beverley style of plays. They don't usually lead to, production on the court. Personally, at least it's not what I've seen that type of thing that translates. So, not sure if that's a real shot, if it's something that Raptors fans should be worried about buying too much into, but another weird comment from Patrick Beverley on his podcast talking about, dark alleys of Pascal Siakam and O.G. Again, I'd be more afraid of O.G. just because of size and strength than I would be a Patrick Beverley, who's, again, much bigger than me, much more athletic than me, taller than me, all that type of stuff, but I don't know. The dark alley analogy always confuses the heck out of me, but I guess O.G. and Pascal Siakam seem like very friendly guys. So regardless of its basketball court, the mall, a dark alley, I'd like to run into Pascal or O.G. and Anunoby and Patrick Beverley too. Seems like a funny cat, but weird sort of take there from Pat Bev. Wanted to address that, but the final thing we're discussing on this video is the dream officially being dead. I think I've made at least 5 videos of or topics and videos of the past 3 seasons about the dream of Giannis Antentokumpo officially being over for him coming to the Toronto Raptors. Well, once again, it's been pushed off. It's been, a far distant sort of thing until Giannis is old and gray in terms of when the Raptors could potentially land him. As another Woj bomb dropped yesterday, lots of news around the NBA ended up popping yesterday. Basically, that Giannis Antetokounmpo has agreed to a 3-year, $186 million contract extension. Lots of money there, roughly $62 million per season. So, congrats to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Would have loved for that contract to be with the Toronto Raptors, but it is what it is. 2021 has passed. The dream is dead, folks. He's not coming to the Toronto Raptors, but we have Giannis at home. Again, I'm drumming up the precious propaganda once again to close off this vid, but the next Giannis better than Bam. We'll get him at a better price, or we could have potentially if it was extended today. But let me know what you guys think about all this Toronto Raptors news. Again, having that jersey giveaway. Follow rentals.ca. It's happening tomorrow, so appreciate all you guys supporting the vids, and we're really excited for the season to start off. Live watch-alongs will be back. Post-games will be back. Live. A little bit of mix this season. We're going to be trying to roll with different styles of videos over the course of this year, but the live watch-alongs with Marcel will be rolling this season. But you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.